learn through musical intervention.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. This is Brandon coming to you with a reaction to something just a little bit different. Let's say a number of you here recently have recommended some things that are a little outside the norm. I'm not opposed to exploring those things. So one of them is a show you all may be familiar with called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And while I don't have a lot of experience with this show, I know very little about it. I am taking a look at this one episode today called Testing 1 2 3. And I see the two ponies here inside. I don't know what this is. It looks sort of like a library. I'm not sure what the whole testing is about. If they take a test, I don't know, but we're going to find out here together. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, take a minute and subscribe, especially if you enjoy watching my videos. But without further ado, let's get into this episode.
If you focus on... No! Rainbow Dash! Ugh! How in Equestria does that pony expect to pass her History of the Wonderbolts exam tomorrow if she's wasting time flying?
The History of the Wonderbolts exam. I don't know what that is. I don't know what a Wonderbolt is. Again, I know very little about this show, but I guess she's going to have to pass a history exam of some sort. Now, it's very, very true that here in the U.S., students do have to take a number of history courses, minimally here in Georgia, which again, it may be different from state to state here in the U.S., but minimally in Georgia, most students do have to take versions of world history when they're in middle school, as well as Georgia history, which is specific to the state of Georgia. And then when they get into high school, they have to take things like world history again and United States history. And there are a few other courses that focus here and there on history in the social studies realm. But this is the History of the Wonderbolts. I do not know what that is, but I guess we'll find out. Let's keep going.
I'm just gonna fly right up to her and tell her what I think about her lackadaisical approach to studying. I may tend to take my tests a little seriously, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be studying for yours. Ooh, and I know just the pony who can help you. Me! This is gonna be so much fun!
All right, they magically teleport into this, I don't know if this is a library, a classroom, or what. So I guess both of them have to take this test, and one of them here, and I don't know their names yet. I know they have names like, I actually do know a couple of their names. I almost said Rapidash, but I think that's a Pokemon. You can see how much I know about this show. I did know a couple of their names. I can't remember them right now, but one of these is taking this very seriously. One of these just doesn't seem to care, but this other pony is going to help her out when it comes to studying for her test. It's just so silly to me anyway, but let's keep going.
Sure. Fun.
Okay.
My little pony, my little pony. My little pony.
Yeah, and I started laughing because I do know this theme. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I do know this theme. I have heard it before. I do remember this theme song. Again, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I would love to, but it tends to create issues. But let's keep going.
What? Huh? This
Sleep.
is the most complete and ginormous book on the history of the Wonderbolts.
And she had her sunglasses on and apparently was sleeping, and you couldn't really tell right away. And I haven't seen students do that. I've seen plenty of students sleeping in class. I have not seen them with sunglasses on trying to hide the fact that they're sleeping in class. And that's something that is not typically allowed in school anyway, the sunglasses. So you can't typically do that. But I have seen students sleeping in class before.
Okay, but how am I supposed to get what's in there into here? With my handy-dandy study checklist, of course.
Okay.
Of course. First up, reading and highlighting.
Okay.
Reading and highlighting is the foundation of any good study method.
Yeah, and this may be one of those situations where I think it's really silly, but then what actually gets said in the episode is actually not bad. I mean, reading over the material and highlighting important items, that's not bad. I'm sort of impressed so far. Let's keep going.
It allows the student to hone in and boil down on what's really important, separating the good from the bad, the wheat from the chaff, getting to the crux of things. Let's see what you've got so far.
Randomness.
Huh? By highlighting everything.
Yeah, that's not going to work out so well. And I want to know what else is on this checklist. I'm really interested now.
Okay, Rainbow. Clearly reading and highlighting is not your style of studying. So let's move on to the tried and true history lecture. Yes, Rainbow?
Lecture.
Is it snack time? No.
Okay, all right. I see what's happening here. So she says history lecture, and lecture does sort of get a bad rap. You do have to have that sometimes. The problem that many teachers face in real life is when they do like their entire class is lecture, you do have to have some of that. I mean, what is lecture? It just means talking through the material verbally, basically, and you can have an effective lecture, especially if you're asking questions and leading more of a discussion, more of a two-way discussion rather than just the teacher doing all the talking and the students just sitting there listening. And I see Rainbow, I guess that's her name, which seems appropriate. She's going to try and distract and do all these different things to avoid really working. I do see that quite a lot sometimes in different schools that I've been in the past, but let's keep going.
Recess? No.
Recess.
Can't we just watch the History of the Wonderbolts movie? No. Now, just get comfortable and experience the magic of learning.
Okay.
Prior to the Great Celestia Luna Rift, there was no need for the Earth Unicorn Pegasi, or EUP Guard. But after Luna's vanishment, the Protective Pony Platoons were formed.
The Protective Pony Platoons. And I forgot what she called the event at the beginning, the lunar something or other. Okay, we're just gonna go with it.
On the anniversary of the first celestial year of peace, a celebration.
No, and I have seen this before. You see this student, Rainbow, I guess you could call her a student, and they're not really having school per se. They're just studying. They're just studying for this test, and I don't know why they need to take this test or what they get out of it in the My Little Pony universe, but she's playing with her chair, or in this case, a three-legged stool. And I have seen students do this. I've been guilty of this myself as a student, like just kind of shifting around with it, leaning back. I have seen students completely fall over in their chairs from doing this, and I'm assuming that may be what happens here. Let's see.
Headed by General Firefly, an elite team of aerial performers were chosen to help commemorate this auspicious occasion. The first performance was so full of energy, so highly charged, that magical lightning showered down on the crowd. Every pony was so filled with amazement and wonder that General Firefly dubbed them the Wonderbolts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, where did they come from? They just sort of came out of nowhere. I don't know if this pony here is going to pass their test or not. Now, the first one, I don't know her name, the one that's sort of teaching or helping study. She seems to know the material so well that she's now teaching it to this other pony. She'll probably do pretty well, but let's see what happens next year.
Let's move on to my favorite style of learning. Flashcards!
Flashcards. Okay, again, not bad, not bad. And the lecture that she did, wasn't bad. She needs to ask questions, and second of all, not turn her back on Rainbow here because you saw what happened. But not too bad. The flashcards, yeah, particularly if you're trying to understand the definitions of certain terms, or in the case of history, maybe memorize some things. And I know memorization gets a really bad rap. It is better to memorize things that you're then going to practically apply as far as that information goes. And when it comes to history, not just memorizing dates, because many students of history memorize dates, but also understanding within what historical context these things happen and how they relate to one another. But I see that she's going to use flashcards here, and I see that Rainbow isn't happy about it, but I don't think should be happy with just about anything. But let's see how this one goes.
Colonel Purpledart, the leader of the Wonderbolts in the 4th Celestial Era, was known for his... Wah! Rainbow, did you see what happened?
What? No! I was riveted by your captivating cards!
Yeah, I'm wondering if she did it or was this something else. I'm also curious as to whether this method is actually going to work for her, but let's see what's going on here.
After becoming the official flying squadron for Princess Celestia, she honored them with...
Ooh,
Gotcha!
Go what?
trying to catch her in the act.
The original Wonderbolt's lightning bolt insignia was... Rainbow No, Dash, you
Oh, so it was her. That's so bad. That's so bad. And if this was a real school, I mean, she's out at that point. I mean, that's a suspension right there. But they're just, studying. And Rainbow here is just doing everything she can to avoid studying. And I've seen that for myself before. And there's just a certain point where you have to realize, I need to pass this particular exam for whatever reason. I don't know the reason within the context of My Little Pony, but you just sort of have to push through, even if it's not something you particularly want to do. But Rainbow's taking it a bit too far here. Let's keep going.
could have hurt me.
With a spit wad? Really?
A spit wad to the eye would have been no laughing matter.
Yeah.
Well, if you can horse around like this, then you clearly must be ready for the test.
Ooh.
Clearly.
Well then, I guess you're
No way.
also ready for a
Pop quiz?
pop quiz.
I knew it. A pop quiz. Which, there's nothing wrong with that, and it would actually help Rainbow out to take some sort of quiz because it's not the actual test, and it sort of serves as a benchmark, in other words, to let her know, how much do I know? How much do I really know? And hey, maybe I do know it all already. Now, based on her behavior, I highly doubt it, but you kind of have to know where you are in order to know how to get to where you want to be, which is passing this test.
Bring it.
The initials EUP stand for what?
Ernie's Undercooked Pancakes.
The original Ariel team performed for
Celestia's Cereal Celebration.
Yeah, and I was sort of quizzing myself because I don't remember the answers, but I do remember her talking about the EUP. I do remember her talking about some of the other aspects of these questions, so maybe I should have paid better attention here.
the Wonderbolts were given their name by this famous Pegasus. Who is she? Please don't say Colonel Waffle.
Hello, General Blazing Donut Glaze. So, did I ace it or what?
Or what? You
What?
didn't get
Yeah.
one answer correct.
What? But how?
I don't know. I've never heard answers so wrong. And so breakfast related.
Yeah. Which, my question is, if she did have something to eat, would she do better? It's been shown that students who are hungry and lacking in basic needs really cannot focus on their academics. It's just human nature. If you are missing the basic necessities, you can't then focus on something like this. So maybe she just needs to eat. I don't know. Now, based on her other behaviors, that might not be the only issue, but I am curious here. If she just has a snack or something, would she perform better?
My dreams of being in the Wonderbolts Reserve would have been totally crushed. What am I gonna do? I'm running out of time. I don't know any of this history. I'm gonna fail!
Don't you have more important things to do, like prepare Rainbow for her big test?
I've tried everything, Fluttershy.
Fluttershy. That was the name of the pony I was trying to think of earlier, actually. I remembered it because of Shutterfly, which is a photography service, but Fluttershy is the pony here.
Well, no offense to your teaching methods, Twilight, but I think I may have a way to help Rainbow.
Okay. What is it?
Oh, who's that? Who's that?
Celestia and Luna, back when they were happy.
They're going to act it out. Okay, so this is not bad, actually. So Fluttershy, I keep almost saying Shutterfly, but Fluttershy is going to act out the history of the Wonderbolts, I guess, and hope that it sticks because of actually seeing it played out. And that is effective. There are many different learning styles, and so maybe the message is that the learning styles that this other pony was trying to teach her or help her study by really weren't aligned with how she learns, which is, there is some validity to that, but let's see if this works. What was going on?
Now what?
Gummy's an Earth Pony, Winona's a unicorn, and Tank is a Pegasus.
They're the EUP, helping to protect the princess.
So weird.
How are you getting all this?
All right, so my question will be, after all of this, will this work or will it not? I'm really curious now.
What? I'm totally confused and I just want to go home.
Hey! Whoa your woes there, Wolfle. Some ponies learn through theatrical presentation, but other ponies learn through musical intervention.
Okay.
But back in ancient times where the Wonderbolts of rule, a general named Firefly, amazing and so
Yeah, and I hate to stop it. I really do, but I just have to comment. I didn't expect us to go in that direction. So the theatrical presentation, as this other pony mentions, I don't know her name, is not so effective. But now she's going to try like a little song here, and I have seen many teachers use this method effectively. I don't know what it is about putting content to a song, even if it makes no sense as far as the music goes, it tends to work. Students do remember that stuff. There are songs that I remember from 30 years ago because a teacher put certain material to song. So this may end up working here, and it just made me laugh because of the style of it also. Let's keep going.
Brought them all together, spreading unity and fight. Performing at their very best with wonder and with might. Next Admiral Fairweather and the Colonel Purple Cloud. Give Wonderbolts a bit of steel along with lots of heart. An Admiral named Fairy Flight and General Kaput.
Okay.
Both flights without style and panache. Commander Easy Glider was the real cream of the crop. For with their wicked moves, the Wonderbolts soared to the top. Wonderbolts.
Okay, wow, that's a lot of info though. You hear that? Like, there's a lot of info crammed in there. I'm not sure I got it, but we'll see if Rainbow gets it.
Yeah, Wonderbolts! Wonderbolts! Yeah, Wonderbolts! That is my rapping history of the
Okay.
Wonderbolts.
Did that work?
So, do you get it?
Yes, Pinkie Pie. Wiki, wiki, wiki. General this and Colonel that. They're the Wonderbolts. Something that rhymes with that.
Not so much. So at first I got pretty excited, like, all right, Rainbow gets it. She was able to sing the song, but without the key pieces of information. And you see the expression of the pony on the right that did this little act. Didn't work so well because he said General this and Colonel that. Like, you need to know the names.
That was pretty terrible.
What? No, really? But I've got to learn this stuff now.
Yeah.
And I am just the pony to help.
Okay. All right, another method here. And this looks like a traditional marching band uniform or something with the Wonderbolts logo. And I still don't fully understand what the Wonderbolts are. You'd think I would after all of this studying here. What are they supposed to do? I don't know. But we'll see if this next little method works. I don't know what it is yet. I suspect it's going to be something else musical, maybe in a different style. But let's see.
Rarity, you
Rarity.
look ridiculous. I am going to ignore that comment out of my desire to help you.
Okay.
Good luck.
All
Get
right,
ready,
what is
Rainbow
this?
Dash, for I am going to take you on an historical...
Rainbow Dash. Yeah, Rainbow Dash. I remember that name as well. So they just called her Rainbow for short, I guess.
adventure in fashion.
Fashion.
I am
It's
now
fashion.
modeling the rather unattractive and, frankly, itchy original Wonderbolts flying costume.
Okay.
Fortunately, thanks to the vision of Flair de Mer, the Wonderbolts ensemble became more streamlined in a wonderfully breathable fabric.
All right, so my question is, okay, this is great. The history of the Wonderbolts uniforms, I guess. I didn't know that existed, but she's going to try to teach through fashion. I mean, I guess she could get something from that depending on how she ties in the information that she needs to learn. I don't know how you do that, but I guess we're going to find out. I haven't seen anything that worthwhile or valuable yet, but let's give it another chance.
There were fashion hits and misses. Just look at those dreadful bell-bottoms. What were ponies thinking?
What?
I don't know. I bet General Flash rocked these things.
Ah! Pinkie, you're real!
Of course I'm real. I mean, I'm not the real General Flash, the 10th leader of the Wonderbolts, but I, Pinkie, am really real.
Okay.
And I'm Admiral Fairy Flight from the 7th Squadron.
Okay, so they're going to impersonate these various figures from Wonderbolt's history and see if Rainbow Dash can memorize them. Now, she also needs to know, like, what did they do? How did they fit into the context of Wonderbolt history? I feel sort of silly saying these things because we're talking about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic here, but let's see if it works.
You are up a creek.
Guess that didn't work so well.
Well, I think we should just go back to old-fashioned studying.
What about our play?
What's she going to do?
Just look at these costumes. Surely something resonates with your inner Wonderbolt.
Commander Easy Glider was the real cream of the crop.
Pinkie, stop rapping. That isn't gonna help Rainbow.
Well, I suggest you put down your silly cards of Flash, for I know that they cannot help our good friend Rainbow Dash.
What's he gonna do?
Enough! No rapping, no cards, no costumes, no play. I am never gonna pass this test, ever. Just forget it.
Yeah, I have seen students do this, but I don't know why Rainbow Dash would do this. She has a lot of different options, a lot of different studying options. The first pony, and I don't remember her name, but alone gave her like 3 or 4 different methods, and they're all trying to help. And honestly, some of them are really good. Now, I don't quite agree with like the fashion method as much, but the other ones, yeah, the theatrics, the music, they can be really helpful. I don't know what Rainbow Dash is going to do at this point, though.
In order to stay safe in the sky, I gotta hear and see everything down to the littlest detail.
Don't you see? I made use of your special skills by enlisting every pony to help you learn the history of the Wonderbolts.
I, Princess Celestia, banish you, Princess Luna, to the moon.
Admiral Fairweather.
Colonel Purple Dart! Admiral Fairy Flight!
General Flash.
Commander Easy Glider!
Okay. All right. So maybe this will work. So I did have to skip certain parts. So basically, Rainbow Dash has a very unique skill of being able to see everything from way up high, and she notices every little detail, and she mentioned that, and now they're trying to put on really what they were doing before by showing her with the costumes and with acting things out, but she's noticing this from that vantage point, and somehow that's going to help her retain the information. At least that's my prediction.
The history of the Wonderbolts.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
Pass.
Thank you all so much!
You're welcome. But it all came from you. You learn without knowing you're learning.
Yeah, and actually there are a lot of apps nowadays that actually try to do that by either helping students play a game. I won't name any by names, but there are several that I've seen in making learning kind of like a game, like even a video game. And students do sometimes learn without realizing it just by playing the game, and there are a lot of clever software companies that do that.
But then your brain is also absorbing lots of other information. It's actually really brilliant.
I always knew I was brilliant.
So she passed the
Rainbow
test.
Dash finally learned the history of the Wonderbolts. But she's not the only pony that needed a lesson. I needed to learn something just as important. One way of learning isn't better than another. After all, every pony is unique and individual.
Yeah, and so in the classroom, we talk about differentiated instruction. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically offering students different choices and different ways of learning the content, and sometimes differentiating the complexity of the tasks that you're giving students, allowing them choices as to how they're going to demonstrate their mastery of a particular standard. But it doesn't change what you actually learn, just more how you learn it, and that's what the ponies tried to do here. Mustache. Why is it that in every show the law enforcement or officials have to have a mustache? I don't know why that is, but I do notice that. Even in My Little Pony. Okay, did she pass? Did she pass? Come on. Okay. Okay, 100%. 100%. That's, well, hey, perfect score. You can't argue with that. All right, she did it. All right, well, that's the episode. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Testing, 1, 2, 3. That one surprisingly had a lot of connections to a school life, I guess, or at least methods of learning. I really liked that one. That one was pretty entertaining. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I did enjoy that one. I didn't really think I would enjoy it, but it was pretty good. It had a lot of surprising connections to education. Thank you all for recommending that episode to me. Several of you all recommended that from your comments in other videos. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like the video. I do appreciate it. That helps me out a ton. But I'll see you on the next video right here on School Principal Reacts. As always, thanks for watching.